Welcome back to another video from Kirby and the Forgotten Land came out 2 weeks ago now, and it's good. It's really good. That's it, review's over. I know some of the common complaints are that it's too short or too easy, but I disagree. This tilt and roll minigame was way harder than anything I did in Elden Ring. If you're going for 100% completion, it'll take you roughly 15 to 20 hours, maybe more than that if you're doing everything, especially the things that don't count towards completion. But I'd rather have a 15 to 20 hour game that's packed full of fun over a longer game that's got a bunch of filler. While the main missions are incredibly easy, there are some fairly challenging things for you to do in the game. Minor spoiler warning as well, by the way, I won't be showing footage from the final boss or talking about the story except for the beginning, but I will be showing gameplay from the later stages, including the boss fights. Okay, we're good. Beating the major bosses without taking damage is about as hard as the main story gets, which isn't all that difficult. It might take you a few attempts at most. The real challenge comes from the post-game and the optional content, and by optional I mean you can skip it completely and still obtain 100% completion. The later tournament cups might cause you a bit of trouble. Tilt and roll on extra hard difficulty will definitely cause you a bit of trouble. Beating the target times in the Treasure Road stages can also pose quite a bit of a challenge. To be fair, I did beat a lot of them on my first attempt. Other times I was left astounded that I was 40 seconds slower than the target time. I'm getting ahead of myself. Let's start at the very beginning. One fine morning, Kirby is enjoying his day until he suddenly gets sucked through a vortex. Not the best way to start the day. He washes up on a beach and eventually discovers an abandoned city. If only he had a car to drive around in. Brilliant. This is mouthful mode. Unlike the copy abilities you get from enemies, mouthful mode is designed for specific sections of each level. You won't be walking around the entire level as a cone. For example, you might need to move a staircase to get to a new area. Sometimes you need to be a light bulb to get through a dark section of the level. Other times you need to become a roller coaster. Mouthful mode is the perfect ability for Kirby because he's Kirby. If he wants to be a cone, you let him be a cone. If he can suck up regular enemies and take their abilities, why not be able to suck up a car and use the car? There's a lot of gameplay potential with mouthful mode. I really hope they include it in future Kirby games, because I think they can add more to it. There's more potential than what we saw from it in this game. Now, Kirby and the Forgotten Land has 6 worlds. Each has 4 main stages and a boss fight at the end, except for World 6. World 6 has 5 stages plus a boss. The goal for each level is to save the Waddle Dees that have been captured by the Beast Pack. You automatically save 3 for getting to the end of the stage, but you can save more by completing the level objectives. They're fairly straightforward, and you'll most likely complete some of them before you even know what they are, since the game doesn't tell you at first. The majority of them are things you would do anyway, like find the hidden pathway, or take down all the wanted posters, finish the race in 20 seconds or less. There's others that are a bit harder to guess on your first playthrough, like using specific abilities to take down bosses. So if you want to save all the Waddle Dees, you'll have to replay some of the levels. The more Waddle Dees that you save, the more you'll unlock back in Waddle Dee Town, the hub area. It's a really cozy place when everything is rebuilt. You can go fishing, play mini games, compete in the arena, upgrade your copy abilities, waste all of your coins buying figures. You've also got a bunch of Treasure Road stages scattered across the world. These are bite-sized levels that have you complete missions using the various copy abilities and mouthful modes. These levels are very short and they're usually split up into 3 sections. Once you clear one portion, you'll unlock a teleporter or just the path to the next one. These stages are fun, but they also make sure that you're checking out every ability in the game. There were definitely certain abilities I didn't use all that often in the regular missions, just simply because I already had my favorites. It was nice that these stages forced me to use everything that the game had to offer and not just stick to a few abilities that I would always pick when I had the choice. Beating these stages under the target time can be brutal though. Like I said earlier, there were a decent amount that I cleared on my first try, but others I had the total opposite happen. If you want to play this without a challenge, you don't want to become frustrated trying to beat time trials and stuff like that, which a lot of people probably don't when they buy a game that looks like this, then you're going to get what you want. You can go through the story without any issues, and you can even get 100% with maybe a few challenges here and there. But if you are seeking a more challenging experience, the game offers that as well. Now let's get nitpicky and talk about a few of the things that I don't like about the game. I don't like how it doesn't automatically take you out of mouthful mode when there's no more use for it. I told you I was going to be nitpicky. It would have been nice to have a few more copy abilities as well. There's definitely enough here already, especially counting the upgrades, but having an additional 2 or 3 would have felt about right. Though if I could only change one thing about Kirby and the Forgotten Land, it wouldn't have anything to do with the game itself. It'd be the frame rate. It runs at 30 FPS, which, after playing the majority of games these days at least 60, including other Switch games, it's quite noticeable. I'm not an FPS nut or anything like that. I think 60 is generally good enough for me. The difference between 30 and 60 FPS is much more noticeable than 60 and 120 or anything higher than that, in my opinion. The game runs well and it looks great, so it's not really a problem. It's just something I would like. But yeah, this was just a long way of me saying buy the game, it's great.